All right, we'll be discussing the big guy, and this is basically this will basically be like the last classification of drugs, okay? And this is what the legal classification of drugs, okay? So in the legal classification of drugs, you can see that this is the 10th classification of drugs. So spoken about other classification of drugs, and if you want a video on them, if you want to watch a video on them, you can just comment and I'll get it to you. Okay, so the legal classification of drugs, right? So the 10th classification of drugs is a legal drug classification. I would say that the Controlled Substance Act of 1990 sets up the legal classification of drugs based on their use, okay, and abuse and how safe they are considered, okay. So here's a partial list. We have the list, we have them classified in classification known as what? Schedules. Okay, so we have the Schedule 1, we have the Schedule 2, and we have the schedules like that up to where we have up to Schedule 5. Okay, so we'll be looking at these schedules, we'll be looking at the classification of drugs based on the schedules. All right, so based on the schedules now, for Schedule 1, we said that substances in this schedule or category have no currently accepted medical use in the United States. Okay, so now lack of accepted safety for use under medical supervision and a high potential for them getting abused. Okay, so now examples of these substances are what? Heroin, lysergic acid, diethylamide. Okay, we have the marijuana as a cannabis, we have the methaqualone, we have the methaqualone, we have the 3,4 methyl in we have the 3,4 methylene deoxy methamphetamine. Okay, those are the ecstasy. Okay, so moving on, this is just like a summary of the list of all the schedules. Okay, so I think when I come back, I'll spend more time on that. So the Schedule 2 and Schedule 2N, these are the controlled substances, all right? So now substances in this schedule have a high potential for abuse, which may lead to severe psychological or physical dependence. Okay, so examples of these substances are what? Hydromorphone, methadone, meperidine, oxycodone, fentanyl. Now, other Schedule 2 narcotics include what? Morphine, opium, and codeine. All right. Now, examples of Schedule 2N stimulants include what? Amphetamine, methamphetamine. It goes by the name Desoxyn. Okay. Then we have the methylphenidate, which goes by the counter name Ritalin. Okay. So other Schedule 2 substances include what? Amobarbital, we have the glutethimide, we have the pentobarbital. All right, these are the Schedule 2N stimulants. Okay, so guys, now this is just a picture for illustration. I could see the law stuff there to tell you that these drugs are under law enforcement or under law control. Okay, so going on to the Schedule 3 and Schedule 3N, we said that substances in this schedule have a potential for abuse less than substances in Schedule 1 or 2. Okay, so an abuse may lead to what? Moderate or local or low physical dependence. Okay, or high psychological dependence though, but the physical dependence is basically low. All right, so examples of Schedule 3 narcotics include a combination products containing less than what? 15 milligrams of what? Hydrocodone per dosage unit. Now, products containing more than 90 milligram of codeine per dosage unit, for example, like what? Tylenol with codeine and buprenorphine. So how about the Schedule 3N? We have examples of Schedule 3N. These are non-narcotics include what? Benzoamphetamine, we have the pendimetrazine, and we have the what? Ketamine, and anabolic steroids such as what? Testosterone. Okay, so moving on to the fourth classification, which is a Schedule 4 controlled substances. Now, substances in this schedule have a low potential for abuse relative to substances in Schedule 3. Examples include what? Alprazolam, we have the carisoprodol, we have the clonazepam, we have the clorazepate, we have the diazepam, we have the aerozepam, we have the midazolam, we have the temazepam, and we have the trazolam. Okay, then how about the substances in Schedule 5? That's a fifth classification of substances under this legal classification of drugs. We said that substances in this schedule have a low potential for abuse compared to substances listed in what Schedule 4. And they consist primarily of what preparations containing limited quantities of certain narcotics. Okay, and examples include what? Cough preparation containing not more than 200 milligrams of codeine per 100 milliliter or 100 grams. Okay, and examples we have phenagan with codeine, and we have the what? Exogabine. All right, so this is basically the legal classification of drugs, and this thing right here, this table right here that you guys see is basically a summary of everything that was said in this lecture. Okay, so you might want to just pause this video and maybe copy out this table. All right, and maybe you could understand this table before you actually still watch this video, and it will help you in understanding the legal classification of drugs. Okay, talking about the Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4, Schedule 5. Okay, so guys, that's it, and see you guys in the next tutorial. Bye for now.